Hey pals, good morning, good afternoon and good evening to wherever you may be, whatever time it may be. It is good to have you as always in the Collective Colloquial here. Eric McFarlane here in the new Hey Pal radio studio, ready for the new season of the NBL 1 across the land. Central opened the proceedings last week and East, South and West joined the fray this week with the North to sit back with the popcorn until mid-April. For the other four remaining conferences, the fans will have the popcorn on the NBL 1 app, nbl1.com.au, and of course, KO freebies for select games. And whilst we speak of four conferences, let's start talking about four seasons. And I don't mean Frankie Valley. My goodness, that might be the biggest generational gap reference I have ever made on Hey Pal. Outdated cuts aside, this is season 4 of Hey Pal Radio. What an absolute privilege and honour it is to continue talking women's hoops with you, our viewing and listening viewership. I usually say it in the housekeeping at the end, but I want to just express my deepest appreciation to you who have supported and listened and engaged with us. And by us, not only Hey Pal, but with the generous athletes, coaches, clubs, and other assorted pals who've given their time to be part of the show. So without you, this show doesn't exist. It is fair to say that without you as a global collective, women's basketball doesn't get to where it is now and where it will continue to grow to. So I'm humbled here to play the tiniest part in that community. Now, our guest this week is a captain in the NBL 1 West and has returned to the club of their debut. A career over 16 years so far. We talk beginnings, the journey, and what's to come. So please join us right after this with Taylor Bestry from the Joondalup Wolves. Our guest on Hey Pal Radio is a sniper of the arts, a sharpshooting superstar who has returned to Joondalup for the upcoming NBL 1 West season and immediately takes the reins as the leader of the pack, being named captain, bringing experience and excellence to Arena Joondalup. Please welcome our guest at this time, Taylor Bestry. Taylor, hey pal.
Hello, how are you?
Really good, thank you very much, and really excited as we always are on the eve of the new NBL 1 season. And I'm sure you probably get those same sort of butterflies and those excitement when you come into a new season. How does it feel for the first time since your debut in the then SBL? The prodigal daughter returns and you're back in Wolfpack Green.
Yeah, everyone keeps asking me the same thing, and it's actually really cool. I think just that this is where I started my basketball, and just to come back here, sort of because I'm getting to the end of it. So that full circle moment. So yeah.
Was that part of the appeal, not the end of it part, because we always say there's many chapters to write when we talk to our guests, but was it sort of wanting that full circle moment? Tell us through the sort of the decision-making process to head back to, I don't think it actually was Joondalup when you last played there, but to the Joondalup Wolves.
Yeah, I think it was just, I was looking for another club this year, and got in contact with Andrew and Mitch, the new coach, and it just was a really good vibe from the get-go. And then it was just a bonus that it was my junior club, and it's super close to home for me, so it just makes it really easy. And yeah.
The northern suburbs, and we forget the Battle of Joondalup rivalry for just a moment. But with that in mind, as the leader so far, how have you found the group has been gelling? You've put together quite an impressive squad. How's the preseason going? How's the training going? How's everyone feeling ready for round one?
Yeah, really good. We're really excited for our first game against Lakeside. And so far we've got a whole new sort of style of play, so that's really exciting. And everybody off the court, we gel super, super well. We get along really good. We've got some younger girls and some older girls, and we mesh together really good. So I think that's going to help us on the court. And I think so far in preseason, it's shown that. So yeah.
It's a great point you bring up, because I know with people I've spoken to, you see those teams that over a couple of years have formed that friendship off court as well, and it definitely helps with the chemistry on court. How do you find you can sort of build that when you have got quite a new group there, and juggling the balances of being in a semi-professional league with players of different I guess, approaches or contracts or whatever it might be?
Yeah. I think like something that we seem to always do, like before training, we're all together in the locker room, we're all having a bit of a chat and just a bit of fun. Like before we even go out on the court, like most teams have, we've got like our group chat that we have a bit of banter, a bit of joking around in. We do a lot of stuff like outside of basketball as well. So I think that's like helped us come together as like make friendships like really fast and yeah.
Probably no more dangerous thing and no more impressive thing to build camaraderie than the group chat. It's always a
Yeah.
bit of a minefield at times, but
Yeah.
without giving away any confidences, as anyone who's got the best meme game in the team?
I think I'd have to say Awa. She always sends a good like GIF or a meme, whatever. Like, and yeah,
Yeah.
it's funny. We got some personalities in the team. We got some funny characters.
No, that's great. The art of the perfect GIF and the perfect meme at the right time is not something to be sniffed at. So
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that you guys are building that chemistry that way. One of the things that I'm so fortunate to do on this show is to talk about the overall journey, and I think being able to share each athlete's story is always great because there's so many different pathways now, in terms of how you can get to the semi-professional and professional levels. So I want to ask how you started your journey. So how did you find the game of basketball?
Yeah, so both my parents actually played, but they played at Senators. So, but anyway,
We're okay with that. We're
yeah.
okay with that. There's a
Yeah.
dollar for my jar, by the way, but of course.
Yeah, but so yeah, like I tried they weren't sort of like I have to play basketball, but I tried other sports, like I played a bit of t-ball, a bit of tennis, a bit of soccer, but basketball was just my thing. Even it's just a big thing in my family. Even my auntie plays, my cousins play, just we're a basketball family.
Um, how did you find that? Because you mentioned you played some other sports. There's sometimes when you've got your parents who have played at that level as well. How did you find your love for it then? How did you decide that that's the one that you wanted to continue playing there amongst all those options you had?
I think it was like so because I was playing soccer on a Sunday, and then when sort of Wobble came about, and that was a Sunday too, like having to sort of make that decision then which one I wanted to play, and it was an easy pick for me. I don't really know what there was about it, but it's just you got to pick one, and it was basketball.
It does often get to that fork in the road there, and sometimes when you've got to make that decision, you kind of just know what's best.
Yeah.
Did you find growing up and then sort of committing more to basketball that having your parents having had that experience was a benefit? What was the best thing to out of that to have such close family links there that had played basketball?
Yeah, it was good. My dad actually coached me a little bit, like in my very junior years, and we also had like a bit of a basketball court and ring out the back, and he would take me out the back, and we'd do some stuff together, and it wasn't always the greatest for our relationship. But no, it was it was good. Like I did really like value my dad's input, and he is a big part of like how I improved as a younger athlete.
It's always tough. Sometimes dad or mum have to sort of alternate the hats between coach and parent at times.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and sometimes there's a little bit of a delay in changing the hats over there.
Yeah.
Definitely a common theme for sure. But I think we, for the most part, know that it's all comes from a good place, which kind of
Yeah.
makes it a little easier when it does sort of go over that moment. Was there a moment? Was it when you had to make the decision, or was there a moment where you actually went, you know what? Okay, I've got a great gene pool here. Obviously, I've got the lineage here, but that I'm actually really good at this game, and I can, make something of it, and then can take it further.
Um, yeah, I think it was just like my to begin with, everyone always wanted to play me as a big, but because I was tall, but I sort of had those guard skills. And so then, like, just sort of being a tall guard was something that was like appealing and like you could take it further.
And so then that moment clicked. There's like, okay, well, I don't have to be the big. I can,
Yeah,
use this height to my advantage in the
yeah.
guard spot.
But even
I think
definitely like being a big in my younger years, like having those skills has then helped me even in a guard position because, like I said, as a taller guard, like if I have to post up a smaller guard or whatever,
yeah,
yeah.
you sort of muscle people around for sure, and use that experience.
Yeah.
Um, Speaking of experience, you did have the opportunity to go to college for a few years. And I'm always intrigued about this because we're seeing a lot more coverage about college these days as well. We're seeing like a lot of social media about sort of tracking the Aussies, where maybe that's we were a little bit late to that party in terms of the coverage a little while ago. But how did you find the overall college experience? Was there a major learning that you took from that time, whether it be on or off the court?
Yeah, I my college experience was like really, I think, eye-opening to me for like um sort of different kinds of basketball because like when I was always like a slasher, I would drive to the basket, that type of player, and I got to college and it was a lot more physical. The players were a lot bigger, and that's when I turned into a shooter and developed that aspect of my game because I just got destroyed inside. So, yeah.
It's a bit of a formative time when you do go over to college. Can you think of any advice you were given during that time? It may not have been in the college setup itself, but can you remember like really key or best pieces of advice you were given while you're going through that experience?
I think just, staying focused and working hard, like that sort of environment, you can get distracted a bit. Like, there's always parties on campus and just different things like that. And I think not only just in basketball, but obviously you're there for school as well. So staying focused in both those aspects and yeah.
Did you find it kind of leveled up your maturity because you had to juggle those priorities and that sort of time management and priority management?
Yeah, definitely. Because when I went over, I was still only 17 at the time, so that was definitely I had to mature a lot. Like you're luckily, I feel like being part of a sporting program, you have like all your coaches and staff and the other players and stuff. So it helps you, but you do have to make a lot of independent decisions and mature a lot.
Now, I mentioned you debuted for the Wolves. Tell me what it's like. This is before the college experience, but tell me what it's like to debut at the professional level at 16. Can it be a bit intimidating? Because we've got some youngsters who do that now as part of like development opportunities as well.
Yeah, it was definitely a scary thing. It was exciting, but it's definitely scary. And even like back then, it wasn't as big as it is now. So I can imagine it would be even scarier now. We get a bit more crowds. We've got a lot of talented players in the league. So it'd be scary coming up against some of those as a 16-year-old.
Is that something that comes up in the discussions, like in terms of like as a team, the exposure is so big now. We see the socials talking about being on KO and just having that ready access to live stream a game from anywhere. Do you ever talk about that with sort of younger teammates, and or do they ever come to you and sort of say, hey, look, how do I deal with that sort of outside exposure or noise?
I haven't really like had it too much like that. I think like some players, sort of might get a bit nervous even like out on the practice court. Like they don't want to make mistakes and but we've all been there and making mistakes is how you learn. And yeah, just go at it 100% and we'll help you through.
One of the things, and I can already tell with our discussion there, but one of the things when you were announced as signing with Joondalup that you mentioned was the importance of wanting to be a role model. Um, Tell me what being a role model means like to you, and why that was so important for you, please?
I think it's because like I have two daughters myself, so um, just like being a person that people can look up to and sort of, aspire to be like, and just showing younger girls that you can do it, even like you can still live other aspects of your life. Like I went away, I had kids, you can come back and still play, and yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned that as well. Your two wonderful daughters. We had the announcement that Darcy Garvin was returning through the NBL One West as well after giving birth as well. You were quite open, through your social media and through your interviews, and I think you had a really good piece with Chris Pike a few years back as well, talking about the challenges you faced. Was that a bit more of a challenge than you thought to get back into basketball after giving birth?
Yeah, for sure. I always like thought that you would just everybody talks about like the bounce back. Like I just thought that you would like have a kid and you would just get right back to normal. Like you wait your 6 weeks or whatever, straight back into it. But it was a very humbling experience. Like, I mean, it's a lot for a body to grow a baby and there's a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
changes. And yeah, just I don't think that my body felt like stronger and more like normal for, I don't have a better way of putting it, but for
Yeah.
like 2 years after having kids. So yeah, it's a challenging process, but it's worth it, especially now when my daughters are on the sideline cheering for me.
I was going to ask, have you got the green jerseys now for them? Making the changeover, have they got their kit ready?
I do, yes. I actually just got them a couple of shirts this week because my oldest daughter Jaden, they come to my training sometimes, and she always wants to put her basketball gear on so she can look like a basketball player. And she's been hounding me like, "You need to get me a Wolves shirt." So I finally got her one.
Look, honestly, you've got like the choice, and I am a big fan of the Joondalup Wolves organization, but you got like 12 jerseys to pick from. So how do you
Yeah.
narrow it down? There's so many choices. So that
I did let them go on the merch website and be like, "Which one do you like?"
oh that's dangerous. That's going to be a lot of coin there.
Yeah.
Um, I I'm intrigued a little bit further there because I don't have children, so I'm in no position to sort of make comment or any like guess to this, but obviously your perspective about life changes. So I mean, that's a no brainer. You bring life into this world, they become your world priority and whatnot. But does it change at all your perspective and how you approach the game of basketball? And that seems like it may sound like a trivial question because there's so many more important things when you do bring life into this world. But does it change your perspective to how you take things on the court, being a mum to two young daughters?
Yeah, for sure. Because I think, like, everybody wants to do their best, and if you don't perform how you want to perform, you can get down, and like obviously it's not good to do that, but sometimes you can hold that until the next game or whatever. But um, my daughters, like, they don't care after every game if I've hit 5 shots, if I've hit nothing, like whatever the case is. They're so excited that they saw mummy play, and it's not a big deal to them. So it sort of takes that like pressure off a little bit, that like, yes, you want to perform, but at the end of the day, like, it doesn't really matter as such. They're still gonna love you the same. They're still gonna be just as excited, and yeah.
It's an important thing about identity there for sure as well. Not to sort of draw parallel to a fictional premise when you're talking very real feelings, but I recall watching Ted Lasso. I'm not sure if you've watched that show, but
Yes.
there's this part where one of the characters, and I'm going to say spoilers, but it's like 5 years old now. So, but there's this point where one of the characters is coming towards the end of their career, and they're worried about that being their entire identity, being a footballer. So they
Yep.
ask the niece character. They go, "Okay, here is your uncle. Tell me everything you think about them." And like not once does a football player comes up. So
Yeah.
I think that owes to your point there is that there's so much more about an identity than being quote unquote just a basketball player. There's so
Yeah.
much more to it. So Thank you so much for
Episode.
sharing that perspective.
Okay.
Um, I want to talk about your leadership because you've come into this organisation first year back, and you've been given the captain's armband to again use another football reference, which will make people happy on a basketball podcast. But um, tell us a little bit about what that meant to you and sort of what you feel you'll bring it to a leader, being in I guess, a quote unquote new organisation with a fairly new squad as well.
Yeah. I was very surprised and very honored to be asked. Um, and yeah, I think for me, it's just like me as a leader, I sort of want to get the best help to get the best out of everybody. I'm not really like a super loud vocal person, but I try to like maybe it's like the nurturing mother in me, but it's like I try to just, check on everybody. Like if I see somebody down, like try to lift them up. Like, just if someone needs help with a play or something, just take them to the side, like talk to them. Like I just always am like checking in on everyone, and that's sort of my style of leadership.
So that real emotional, intelligent piece there. I mean, that's such an underrated factor when people talk about leadership and that, I guess, human awareness. So, and again, we've sent a few messages, but the first time actually chatting face to face, for want of a better term, and that obviously exudes from you. So I can
Thank
see
you.
why Joondalup made that decision, and so far it looks to be a good decision.
Thank
Um,
you.
you mentioned your daughters and mentioned how important being a role model is. Women's basketball in Australia is in a really great point at the moment. I mean, we've got a World Cup coming up. Last year, the Opals won the Asia Cup as well, and obviously women's basketball is taking over the world as well. Thank goodness the WNBA contracts got signed as well.
Yeah.
How do you feel as though we're going with women's basketball in Australia at the moment? Where it's at the moment? Is it? It feels like an exciting period. Does it feel like that to you?
Yeah, for sure. I think that yeah, like we're just getting more and more exposure, which helps us, and like a lot more for like the younger generations to watch and aspire to and everything. And that's like we're just improving. And yeah, in our league especially, it's like we're getting more talent into our league. We're getting a lot of WNBL players, and that's making our like local talent better. And it's, those 16-year-olds that we were talking about before, it's making them better, which then, they improve to those next steps. And it's just great for our whole Australian system.
No doubt. I mean, your team alone has WNBL players, international representation as well with the Tall Ferns, and across the league we've got WNBL players, WNBA players as well. If we want to count Sammy, Opals across the board as well. So, um, I, as someone who's literally just moved to the other side of the country, what do you think it is that's so appealing about the West that we're getting such this depth of talent there in the NBL One West competitions now?
Well, I think like outside of basketball, if I'm maybe a bit biased because I'm a Perth girl, but I think WA is like a really nice state to live in. Everyone that comes here says that they love it. It's so chill, like the people are great, the beaches are nice. And so that sort of brings an appeal to the league. And then um, just I think that, teams are putting in so much effort now, like just the like social media presence and the just like marketing stuff of like the teams in the league and everything. And that's bringing in these good players, which then brings in more good players each year. And it's just a cycle like that.
Yeah, it's kind of like the snowball effect. You get some great players one year, then more great players come, and it just keeps
Yeah.
rolling and rolling down that hill,
Yeah.
which is really exciting. I will say, as someone who's moved from Perth, I do agree that Perth is amazing. But the good thing is now I've got NBL One West as a nightcap here, so it kind of
Yeah.
works out. Um, Speaking of depth of talent, let's talk about the Joondalup squad specifically. I've mentioned it before. You've got a couple of Perth Lynx players on there. You've got international experience, even Ella as well, with international Geckos experience as
Yeah.
well. And of course, I always feel that I need to bring up the human cannon herself in Georgia Smith, who has a knack of going viral for a great shot, which I know you'll
Yes.
respect as a sharpshooter as well. Um, how do you feel about the squad going together? There has been a bit of change, but who should we be on the lookout for, and who's really taken you not necessarily by surprise, but really impressed you?
Well, I always have to say Awa, like she's one of my favorite players to play with. I obviously played with her last year. She's just so tough and awesome to play with. And then I think even Yamaya, just from the links, like practicing with her the last few weeks, has been really good and exciting. Just having that real tall big on your team is always good. And then I think also we have Kim, who's Canadian, but she's got her Indonesian passport, and she's an exciting player to look out for too. And we've even got more players coming in still. So yeah,
Oh, a little teaser there.
yeah,
Your,
we have
your
announcements.
squad's your squad's already stacked enough,
Yeah.
but no, you're right. It is quite a deep team. Without giving too much away in terms of the magnets, and we're not a big X's and O's show or anything like that. But what sort of style can we expect from the Wolves this year? What's sort of been the approach to how you guys are going to tackle the game? Again, please don't give away all the trade secrets. We want to have some surprise there for your round one opponents on Saturday.
Yeah, well, like as I said, I think this year's we've took on like a whole new system, like offensively and defensively. So I think you'll see some big changes. I think we've got a very like fast, exciting type of play this year. So yeah.
That's dangerous because especially up at Arena Joondalup, if you guys get that an energizing style going, that crowd seems to lift. I'm not sure how the roof is still on that place there. It is one of the best game day experience of all codes across the country there, and as someone
Yes.
who's been fortunate enough to call a few games there. Um,
Yeah.
I want to quickly talk about sort of that exciting style, and not specifically. Again, we're not going to make you get the whiteboard out, but you mentioned a bit about how in college it's sort of increased the shooting side of your game. You do have a sharpshooter tag. You're an excellence of execution outside the arc. Do you have any tips for people who want to improve that side of the game? Because you're pretty easy money from outside the arc when you're ready to go there.
Thank you. I think just, which actually it's funny to say because it's something that I have struggled on and off with, but um, just not having a conscience as a shooter. Like you can't be worried about your last miss or like you just, and even like just overthinking, you can't have that. Like you've, most people have the same like shot style, like the same repetition, like each time. So you know how to do it. It's just do it without thinking.
It seems so simple, that advice, but that's probably one of the biggest head things to get out of. Is like
Yeah.
you see the very best shooters will sort of be a goldfish and move on from the last shot and
Yeah.
hate themselves to volume shooting to do that. So I think it's a pretty good tip there to try and
Mhm.
not get caught up on shots of the past or
Yeah.
things like that. Um, I'm going to get to the home stretch here before we play a little game to wrap up the episode here. I want to talk about sort of the goals that you have for this year. Now, if you've got the vision board out there, if there's anything that really strikes out, either yourself as an individual or as a team that you'd really like to see accomplished throughout the NBL one season.
Yeah, I think individually for me, I don't have any sort of set specific goals. I think more so, I just want to like do whatever the team needs from me, whether that's cheering on the bench, whether that's out there hitting threes, like anything. I just want to do like my job each game to help get us the win. And then as a team, I think obviously everyone's goal is to win, but I think hopefully like a top four finish. I think that'll be one of our goals this year.
That makes Joondalup a very dangerous team if you qualify for top four in the pointy end of the season. Um, Something I'd like to do in now season 4 of Hey Power Radio, because we have the NBL One focus, is sort of get you to put the commissioner's cap on for a moment. I'm still workshopping your name. Should have thought of this before, but like I'm thinking Ask Ty. I guess out of a nod to Tyrone Thwaites, the boss of the NBL One now,
Yeah.
a good West Australian export as well. But if the league sort of gave you those commissioner powers, across the land for a moment, what would be the thing that you would look to implement in the NBL One?
Um, Gosh, that's a tough question.
It's a lot of responsibility. Heavy is the head that wears the cap.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. I mean, they're like kind of already um making that step with the how they're doing the women's team in Geraldton. So I think like
Yes.
expanding the women's side like that, where this will be the same as the men, and getting to do that trip because the road trips are always fun. So yeah.
That's a really good call out. I'm so glad. I think it's 2027, so I think it is
Yeah.
next year that they're coming live there. So, and yeah, a road trip with a team. That's awesome. And you guys
Yeah.
miss out one
I
each
know.
year, which will be rectified next year, all things going well. So no, I
Yeah.
like that one. And I'll give you half a point because it's already in the works, but still a really
Yeah.
good idea. The last thing we're doing, which we tried out with, now Willerton's Alex Fowler on our last episode, was a bit of word association to finish off. So I'm just going to fire a couple of things at you. Just whatever your immediate response is. It can be a word, it can be a sentence, it can be a soliloquy, whatever you're feeling. But I'm just going to throw out some quick fire word association, and then we'll bring it home. So are you ready to go?
Yes.
All right, cool. It sounded a lot more ominous on my side. I apologize for that. All right, here we go. Word association. Let's go. Quick fire. Nickname.
Oh gosh. TJ.
The number 5.
No, like the number five.
Yep.
A high five.
High five. See, I was going for your jersey number there.
I
So
know.
we've now learned that there's not really an attachment to your jersey number. Am I misreading that? You just, 5
Um,
looks good, I guess.
I mean, I have it tattooed on my arm, a five, so I don't know. That was my college number, so stayed with that.
Just stuck. Perfect.
Yeah.
Uh, the Wolf Pack.
Strong,
Wally the Wolf.
cute. Well, my daughters will
Now,
think he's cute.
yes. I tell you what, for those who are maybe not aware, who are outside the NBL One West Conference, Wally the Wolf is the mascot of the Joondalup Wolves, but just calling Wally the mascot is probably underselling. This is a whole crazy entity, and I like your daughters. I know mates who have their kids come down as well. Absolutely in love with the guy. I think he won the
Yeah.
Personality of the Year last year for the league
Yeah.
as well. So if you do get a chance, I think he's got socials too. So do give Wally the Wolf a follow. And the last one, round 1.
A win.
That's good. I like it. That's the confidence that the Wolfpack going with, the Joondalup Wolves. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for your time. Mindful that round 1 is coming up on Saturday. You're travelling to Lakeside there for the first game of the year. I'm really thankful for your time. Excited to
Thank
see what you and Joondalup do, and especially with yourself with the captain's armband on. So again, want to thank you for your time here today, and wish you all the very best, not just for this weekend, but for the season ahead in the new colours. So thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you so much, and thanks so much for having me.
That brings us to the ending of this week's episode of Hey Power Radio. Thank you so much to Taylor for the great chat and her time on the exciting eve of the new season. For Taylor and Wolfpack fans, You can see their first game of the 2026 season this Saturday at 6 p.m. WA time as they face the Lakeside Lightning away. Get down to the game if you're in WA. I fear you really don't need to tell the passionate Wolfpack that, but I fully expect to see and hear the ball of energy that is Neil Barnard as well. So get down there, Lakeside fans, Joondalup fans, NBL1 fans, basketball fans, fans, whatever you're a fan of, come on down. It's going to be a great time, no matter where you are as well, whether or not it's that game or the NBL1 conferences across the land. If you can't get to a game, of course, check it out. That game specifically is on the NBL1 app or nbl1.com.au. Other games, of course, are also available on KO as part of the KO freebies, the Game of the Weeks, but I think there are some other select games there too. Thank you once again to you, our magnificent viewership. I'm also very excited with the beginning of the NBL 1 South. This weekend, it's kicking off. My new digs. And so I'm pleased to announce that I will be calling play-by-play for the Ballarat Miners this year. A huge thank you to the crew out there for entrusting me to add the lyrics to the music your players create on the court, and I cannot wait for the games. There's going to be 4 of them over 2 days this weekend. The huge country cup between Ballarat and Bendigo is going to be the first cab off the rank for myself. That kicks off this Saturday night at 5:30 p.m. That, of course, is Victorian time. I still struggle with the daylight savings thing, so just check what time 5:30 will be here. That may be the stupidest thing I've ever said, what time 5:30 will be. But I'm not in WA anymore, where we worry about the cows checking their watches and the blinds fading, or you know what it is. But anyway, 5:30 Victorian time, I'll be there. That game specifically as well has a litany of WNBL champions, so do tune in and join us. Of course, if you're around the area, please come out and support as well in the stands. For now, though, it's time to prepare thyself for the avalanche of NBL 1 action coming your way. Central continues. East, South and West are here. And North, well, we see you. We can't wait for you to join our conglomeration. If you ever liked what we've done here on Hey Pal Radio, please share the word. Or some clips as well from the socials. Or rate us as well on your preferred podcast service. It does help spread the reach there of the stories and of the show. But, most importantly, as always, just appreciate you being part of it by listening or viewing now with the new video content. We never expect you to share. We never put that as an obligation. If you do, we are beyond grateful, and we just appreciate it. But, your presence is the only present we need. Also, if you have suggestions, ideas, or feedback, we're always open. DM, comments, whatever way you'd like to reach out with us through the Hey Pal pages, my pages, through back channels, through diplomatic immunity. I don't know. Just reach out. We greatly appreciate your time and feedback at all times. Speaking of time, we reached the end of ours today. So until the next time here on Hey Pal Radio, it's Eric McFarlane saying goodbye, and we'll see you down the road on Hey Pal Radio. Bye, pals. Hey, pal.